Good morning, Paulsicans and Hepsicans. This is the DeFi Crypto Alliance show, the loudest megaphone in PulseChain land. What is going on, guys? I'm feeling good. I'm feeling fine. I went to the gym this morning, got my pump in, and I am ready, man. I am having a good time today, guys. We're going to have a special show for you guys. You guys know I love the builders in this ecosystem. If you ask me every single day, I'm going to tell you the reason why we are still around, why we were able to go through this bloody ass bear market, and the still reason why we're here today is because of the builders, right? They dragged us through the effing mud. So, like, I wanted to make sure that we always bring them on this show, put the limelight on them, and give them the credit where credit's due. And then you guys can learn, like, hey, you know, is this the protocol I would like to use today? Is this the right tool set for my portfolio? It's always, you know, your decision. This is never financial advice. You guys push the green and red buttons. I do not. I only speculate on my own finances, and you guys get to hear what I do. That's all this show is. But without further ado, I want to bring these guys up. They're doing some amazing things over on PulseChain land, the VOX protocol, and we're going to do a deep dive on it today. So here is Nova, DeFi Nation, and Fat Sammy. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the stage. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. What's going on, guys?
Hey, Corey. How you doing?
What's up, brother? How's the weather in Puerto Rico?
You know how it is. Hot as hell.
That I do, sir.
Here, Corey. Thanks for having us here.
Yeah. So go ahead and tell the audience, especially you, Nova. We've had DeFi Nation on here, and people know who Fat Sammy is. But like Nova, like, you just tell people a little bit about yourself. Like, how did you get into PulseChain? Why PulseChain? Right? Like, people are curious why some builders come over here and build. Were you in Hex in the beginning? So kind of tell them your origin story a little bit.
Yep, I've been in PulseChain since day one. Crypto since really into crypto since 2017, even though I had some exposure before that. But you know, just trying to add my value to PulseChain, build stuff. You know, offer solid products that offer some sort of you know, value proposition where it will enhance the value of the chain as a whole. We're all working for PulseChain to succeed, right? Without PulseChain, everybody fails.
Yep.
So yeah, just trying to add my just give my help to the chain, right? It's all community work, the way crypto works, right? It's kind of changing the paradigm of how we work and how finance works. So that's pretty much it. But always been you know, Hexagon since day one. Reason why we've been on PulseChain is, you know, follow Richard Hart, and if you follow the guy deeply, you watch his YouTubes, you know, he has, you know, a ton of knowledge, ton of experience, and he stays true to the ethos of crypto, and it is what we want to stay true to as well. You know, decentralization, no admin keys, you know, public verified code, and that sort of stuff. You know, we want to stay true to the chain, stay true to crypto, and you know, stick the finger to the middleman type of thing. You know?
I agree with that 100%. Oh man, that's awesome. Okay, cool, man.
Yeah.
And you built a farming protocol, from my understanding. And I'll tell you, man, that we need these type of protocols, especially since I mean, my favorite place to farm used to be the PulseX and Inc. pair over on PulseX. But obviously, I'm not doing that anymore because somebody cranked down the APY and made it not worth it anymore. So I was like, okay, I'll pull my liquidity. That's what he wants me to do. And I pulled it. And so, you know, coming out with a project like this right now, I think is well needed. So hats off to you on that, sir, for coming out with this around this time period. But cool, man. Yeah, let's go ahead and dive a little bit deep into the VOX protocol and what it all has to offer.
Yep. So yeah, feel free to interject, DeFi Nation, Fat Sammy, with your thoughts. Just gonna give a little bit of my 2 cents here on the protocol. So as I said, all the stuff that we do in Vox Finance, we try to keep it true DeFi. No admin keys, public code, so everybody can see what the code is doing. Burnt liquidity, in most of the cases, obviously farms people are adding their liquidity, so can't really burn the liquidity there. But in our other protocols, obviously. Uh, and then yeah, so all staying tuned uh, to the ethos of crypto, right? So we're doing all of that in that sense. And then with RH slashing the farms, slashing the
It
commission.
sucks. I mean, I
What
know
we're
why you did it though, but it sucks.
Yeah, well, what we're seeing is a lot of other protocols, right? Emit, Vox,
Yep.
and other farming protocols on chain start to take on that role of providing some yield for people, right? I think the yield it is really important because that's what like drives, you know, drives ROI for people, right? People will like move around the chain, create transactions, stake, add LP, remove LP, and that those are all transactions that are going to happen and help the chain. So yeah, in a nutshell, so we offer like these farms, which are nothing more than like a fork of PulseX farms. So it's pretty much the same code, but we added a few more features to it, right? So Vox is a no fee token, and but it's a it's a incentive token for a PulseX style farm, but with much smaller emission. It's only zero point 0.1 Vox per second instead of the 1 ink per second. So even after 10 years, you're not going to see much more than 31 million coins out in the market for Vox, which is a pretty small supply.
Mm.
And
Right now, it's just what, about 1 million or 1.5 million
yeah,
tokens.
yeah. So really small supply. Small emission, but we managed to maintain pretty decent APR. In the hundreds of percent across pretty much all pools. And
Do you
and
want to
then
bring your
but
screen up on the
yeah,
Vox farms to share?
sure.
Yeah,
While
bring
I'm
it up
doing
like a
that, I'll just
broadcast for the audience.
and I'll just share. So like I came across these farms probably about 6 or 7 months ago. I started farming there before Emit launched, which I helped with the Emit launch with that team, and then started farming on these, and they started with Vox. That was the first farms. APRs were really high, was earning a good amount, and then they launched the Hyperion farms a few months later, and then the Increase farms. So right now there's 3 farming protocols on the Vox platform, and I started talking to Nova and the team, like really interested in what they were doing, because they like you said, their ethos was the RH standard of no admin keys, immutable code, burnt liquidity, all of the things to make the platform safe.
Right.
And we just saw with like what happened just the other day with Better Bank. I mean, a
Oh,
lot of
what
people.
a nightmare that was, and still
Yeah,
is.
I mean, a lot of people lost a lot of money, and I don't know if they're going to get made whole or not. I mean, there's promises for that, but with this, I mean, it's just a fork of the PulseX farms of classic Master Chef. So there's really not much risk there, because that's all audited code, and then this code is verified. So it's just kind of typical farming, but with high APRs. Like Nova said, the inflation rate. I mean, when you look at the APRs on these farms, you would think there was really high inflation with anywhere from a couple 100% to up to like 800, 900% APR on some of the farms, and you'd think that would be high inflation, but actually the inflation rate is 10 times less than the original PulseX inflation rate of INC, which was one INC emitted per second, and these all 3 tokens are actually 0.1 token emitted to the farms per second. So it's I think that's 90% less inflation than the INC inflation rate started at for the first couple of years on PulseX before RH like slashed them, I think like 95% or whatever. So the inflation rate is pretty low. The yields are high. It's just because the TVL hasn't gotten built up. I mean, there is a pretty good amount of TVL. I think over 150,000 on Vox farms, and then close to 100,000 on Hype, and maybe 50,000 on Increase. So between the 3, Maybe we're around 300 to 400,000 TVL. But yeah, there's a lot of room to grow here. I mean, we just saw a surge in the token prices. Fat Sammy and I kind of got involved in the marketing maybe a month and a half ago. We had saw that all three tokens pretty much bottomed out. They had pretty big sell-offs for the first 6 months or so, obviously because that's what these kind of tokens do when you're people are farming at a high rate. They sometimes tend to sell their rewards. So we saw where there really wasn't any sell pressure left. All three tokens had pretty much bottomed for about a month straight. They were just sideways in the same range. We said this is a good entry to kind of start promoting these and getting people in farming and earning yield. And since then, we saw on VOX, we saw about a 4x in price. From 1.5 cents, I think that went up to about 7.5 cents. On Hype, we saw it bottom around 2 or 2.5 cents. It went up to 16 cents after we started our marketing campaign on it and added some new farms, and that was an 8x on that token. Right now, I think it's sitting around 7 cents, so it's still holding about 3x higher than its bottom, and increase same about a 4x.
Only about 1 million tokens out in supply right now. Is that accurate?
On VOX, but the other two
sounds very
farms,
undervalued.
Yeah, the other two farms started later, several months later, so their supplies are actually much smaller. I can bring up
a lot of room for growth. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, Hype is the supply.
Can you guys see my screen? Just checking.
Not right now. We were. Now we see us.
Okay.
Hype supply is about 750,000 tokens, and increase is much lower. So the thing that makes Hype and Increase the Hype farms and Increase farms a little different is both are tax tokens. The tax is about 5 to 6%. 1% of that is a buy and burn on the tokens, and they also buy and burn.
Oh, I love buy and burns. That's good.
Yeah, and they buy and burn their own tokens, but they also burn the RH tokens. So Hype burns PLSX, and Increase burns INC, and you also the other about 4 to 5% tax is actually reflection rewards directly to the holders. So Hype holders earn PLSX rewards, and Increase holders earn INC rewards directly to their wallet. You don't have to stake them. It's kind of similar to the emit, like single side pool where you stake your emit and you
instead
earn
of $E.
DAI.
Yep. Or EDI. I'm sorry, EDI. Yep, that makes sense. You're getting core assets.
Yeah, but instead of having to stake them, once you claim them from farming, you keep them in your wallet, and you're just earning those reflection rewards in PLSX and INC directly to your wallet. So it's already Hype tokens already paid out hundreds of millions of PLSX, and they're still pretty new. So we'll eventually see those numbers much higher. And actually, the VOX team comes from they were the ones behind Incognito token, which is a reflection token that paid INC. And Nova, you can let them know about. I think it's a couple 100,000 INC was paid out to holders, and something like 40,000 INC burned from that. So that was like at one point like over $1 million in reward payouts from Incognito token, and there's other reflection rewards in their ecosystem as well.
Yeah, there's like a Phoenix token. In fact, I think I still own a small bag of the Phoenix token. Yeah, I think I own this one. I have to go and look, but I think I bought it when it kind of bottomed out, when it really took a hit. And I was like, man, if this turns out to be anything like the Incognito, it was worth a small little bullet in my portfolio. So not financial advice, guys. You make your own decisions, but this was one of those degen plays that I went into that I liked. So yeah, good stuff.
So
I didn't know you guys were the same. I didn't know you guys were the VOX team was the same guys who are doing the Incognito.
Yeah, it's just, I think it's just people on PulseChain, as those past 2 years, as people are investing, building, we all started knowing who we are, right? Like the guy who's like launching this meme token, the guy who's like working on this farm, the guy who's working on this yield token. And then naturally, I think people start coming together, people who are true to the chain, true builders, true community members that are really helping push the chain. And then we kind of, start knowing each other. And I think that's when like the true organic PulseChain chain community starts growing, and we start branching out into each other's protocols, and we start becoming
Yeah.
like a larger community, you know, sub communities that end up like forming other communities together, you know. So
That's great.
Well,
Talk about some of the
we had a-
single
sorry.
side stuff you got going on. I'm
Yeah.
very interested in that.
That's my favorite addition we've just recently added. So
Here,
at the moment,
bring
you
it
can single
up.
side. You can single side your incentive token, and then you can.
And what am
also
I
single-
earning if I stake my incentive token single sided? What do I get to earn? What is my reward?
I'm on my phone, so someone have to quickly look for me. You should be able to see it in the
So-
increase.
yeah, you'll earn
increase one.
increase. Yeah. So the cool part is you can stake single side your ink token, right? Or you
Okay.
can stake RH cores like ink and PLSX or PLSX PLSLP. But you can also stake single side the ink or the PLSX, right? And you're not like exposed to that impermanent loss. And and then you're earning in the ink case, you'd be earning increase, and then in PLSX case, single side staking, you'd be earning hype. And the cool fact is, when you stake your ink, you earn increase, right? And then if you keep that increase in your wallet, you're also earning ink, right? Or
Right.
if you're adding LP outside of the farms, you're also earning ink.
It's the
Because-
loop. I love
Yep.
Yeah,
that.
so the
Yeah.
APR right now on the INC single side pool is 97% APR. It's only got about $3,500 in there, so that APR will get chopped down. But you know, we're trying to.
You guys sell
have
me
it-
enough, there's gonna be a lot more going into that pool.
yeah.
If you sell me enough, you know what I did over the IMPLS pool before.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah,
do
and
it
then the-
this one. What is that fee? Explain to me the fee. So is that fee going in and going out? Is that
Yeah,
accurate? Is that
the
on
fee is
total
going
bag?
in and going out. And then the fee
So it's
is going-
3% total to enter and exit. Am I accurate on my total bag?
Correct.
Okay.
And then the reason why we have the fee, you know, it helps us just move the products like forward, right? Like keep you know, locking liquidity, you know.
Yeah, it helps
Um,
lock people in longer.
yeah,
Have more
keep-
time in hand inside the
having
pool.
like some funds to run a promo, or you know, and then
I'd have to crunch
also-
some numbers and see where my break even is at,
Yeah.
like after the fee, where
So
the
if you
Yeah.
hover over the APR on any of the farms or the pools, it shows you the daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly like returns.
I like
Right
that.
now on the INC single side pool, it's almost 2% weekly. It's like 1.9% weekly. So you probably have about like a week and a half, 2 weeks to get that, to earn that.
To get even.
Yeah. I mean, about a week to earn back the
not bad.
deposit fee, and about a week to earn back the withdrawal. But if you stay in there long enough, you know, I mean, the
Oh,
withdrawal.
you
fee
definitely
won't
be in there longer than a couple of weeks. There's no point in going any of this stuff if you're like you don't have at least a couple months.
Yeah,
Sometimes
especially
a
at
couple
these
months
high
they're gonna be-
APRs, because eventually, I mean, if we get like right now, if this pool 10x in size, there's about 3,300 in there. If there was like 33,000, then this would be right around 10% APR. But that is, I mean, for single size.
Are you telling me DeFi Nation that they come in here and crush the APY? Is that what you're trying to tell me not to do?
Yeah, maybe wait a little bit. Let your viewers get in there first, and then yeah. And then on the PLSX single side pool, that's on the Hype farms, because the Hype token earns PLSX reflection rewards as well for holding. So that is
Show me the
about-
PLX. Show me the PLSX single side. There it is. Okay.
that
How
one
much is in there?
70% APR right now. And
We got
there's some-
$7,000 TVL in there. Okay.
$7,000, yeah. So if there was 70K in there, that'd still be about 7%. But you know, those fees could actually be brought down if the APR goes lower. And also, when the price of these tokens increase, so Hype token right now around 7 cents, but a couple weeks ago, before the pullback we just had on PulseChain, it hit 16 cents. So if the price of the token is double, then the APR is actually going to go up.
Assuming you weren't selling.
Yeah, I
along
mean-
the way. Like
I
it's
mean, these farms are highly profitable. You know, I think, you know, everybody that came into the farms and parked their money there, they made money. I think the only
Mhm.
people that might not make money is just if you're really, really impatient, right? And if you
of course.
stick stick,
Yeah.
stick the, if you do the staking in like 1 week, oh no, like the market moved a little bit and I'm suffering some impermanent loss, and then I'm out. And then, yeah, obviously nobody makes money like that. But if you're compounding, and if you're waiting, like, reasonable amount of time, that like you're earning 100%. So you can recover that one, like here, this case, 70% fee. So you can recover that 1.5% fee. And then in the future, obviously, as it matures, the ecosystem, um, we can direct those fees to be like permanently burned or reduce it somehow. And then another point that I wanted to mention is that, right now you're seeing Increase Farm and Hype Farm, right? They're focused on Inc and PLSX. The farm activity, the compounding, the adding, removing liquidity, people taking profit, all of those fees generated, those are the fees that are being used to distribute the PLSX, the Inc used to burn, those are H cores, and used to burn VOX, right? So whenever people are transacting in these farms, they're all burning VOX, which is no style token. And then, obviously in the pipeline, we're going to launch a Hex farm, a Most farm, any attractive token that the PulseChain community desires, right? And that's all creating, trading activity, arbitrage opportunities to create more trading activity, more yield, more burn, and all protocols targeting and buying and burning VOX. So emission rate in VOX doesn't change, and it just gets burnt, bought and burnt more and more by these farming activities. And I think for anybody who's been in these protocols since the beginning, um, so if you see the APR is still extremely high, 400% a year, but if you join the farms as they open, and if you're like part of the community, right, you're following the project, you're coming in day one on these protocols, then you're really reaping a lot of benefit, right? Because then you're getting thousands and thousands in APR, for first couple of weeks, and that makes a huge difference. That alone, you usually recover your initial investment if you're one of the first people to join. Pretty fast. And
Yeah,
it's pretty
and
much
we have single site staking for PLS coming out next. That will probably be out this week or maybe by next week. And then we have the Hex single site staking that's gonna come out when the new Hex farming platform. So just like Hype and Increase are farming and earning PLSX and INC reflection rewards, there will be a Hex farms called Hexamo that will be coming out in the coming weeks, and that will be earning Hex reflection rewards when you farm and hold that token. So the Hex single site staking will come out on that. So then we'll have PLS, PLSX, INC, Hex. There might be like some more single site pools. I mean,
yeah.
I even think it would be cool to maybe do like a Solid X single site
Hey,
pool.
now you're speaking my language, bro.
Yeah. They'll come back on your show.
You
And
know
we
I
could
got
do
a big bag of Solid X. It's just sitting
Yeah.
there doing nothing.
Yeah, if
And
we get a
there's
collab going with like Randy, we could definitely kind of do some farms for
good.
that. And,
and there's a lot of farms that are zero fees as well, right?
I see that.
Mostly on VOX, but any PLS pair for the particular token, it will be zero fee, right?
Yeah, Nova, can you bring up the VOX farms? I want to just walk through the kind of some of the pairs and the APRs on each of the farms. So on VOX right now, you can earn on VOX with INC, it's 200% APR. With PLS, it's 160% APR. PLSX, 150% APR. And there's also a wrapped PWBTC pair with VOX, 124% APR. We did a couple collabs. We did one with the Surf Crypto Paradise team, the YouTubers. So that's 400% APR with Surf. And then we did a collab with Bria token, the meme coin that Rackham Rochelle's team's behind. That one is higher, about 800% APR, because that's only like around $1,200 in that pool. So we did kind of, we're going to probably do like a contest with that meme coin community and give away like Vox and Bria LP. It's like a farming contest. So that's the Vox. And actually all three of these tokens, the market cap's around 30 to 50,000 market cap. I think VOX is
Yes.
around 40,000.
So much room to grow.
Increase is 30,000. I think Hype is like 50,000 market cap. So they're all extremely low, like micro cap tokens with a lot of upside. Then if you go to the Hype farms, those APRs are higher. The Hype INC pair 400%, Hype Hex 400% APR, Hype with PLS also 400%, PLSX about around the same, and the Surf token 320%. Hype with VOX. So we have several like compound pairs. So like Hype and VOX, you farm both, and then you can stick them in the farm together for 280%. And then you have the PLSX INC 98%. So this is the one you were in on PulseX, Corey. You were earning about 20% APR there. Now you're earning about 98% over here.
I had my entire bag over there.
The fee that you obviously have to earn back. Keep that in mind.
If I dump my entire bag in here, it would drop to 98.
DAI 97%. The single side pool 70% APR for PLSX. PLSX, PLS 70%. And actually all of those core pairs like PLS, PLSX, INC, those are also on VOX as well. The APRs are just a little lower than that. And then if you go to the increase farms, APRs will be about high because this was launched after. So there's actually a most increased pair that's 500% APR on that one. We did a collab with the Surf team on this one as well. We did with all three farms. That's 470% APR if you have Surf token. VOX increase, we just launched that, 460% APR. So if you're farming on VOX and you're farming on increase, you take your rewards from both and you pair them together over here. It's a compound. Increased DAI, 400%. PLSX increase, 370%. INC increase, 360%. Increased PLS, 350% APR. About 10,000 in there. Increased EMIT, we did a collab with EMIT, that's 340% APR. So if you're farming on EMIT, you take your EMIT tokens and then your increased tokens you farm over here and you pair them together to compound. Increased Hex, 300% APR. Increased Hype, another compound pair, 376%. And then the RH Core PulseX farms. So PLSX INC, 97%. PLSX, 51%. And then you have the single side pool for INC is 97% APR. So yeah, the APRs are really high, and actually they were much higher. They were about double where they were before prices kind of just decreased on everything across the board on PulseChain. With this latest pullback. Yeah, I mean, about a couple of weeks ago, we were about double the APRs, but obviously things have come down. And then as the emissions kind of come out too, that's kind of brings them down. But yeah, we haven't had like a ton of volume. Like the volume's been relatively low. So it really doesn't take much for these tokens to go up in price quite a bit. I mean, when we saw the pump on like the 4X on VOX, 8X on Hype, and similar on Increase, it was maybe about $5,000 in buy pressure on on each of the tokens that really made them jump up that much in price. There wasn't really a lot of sell volume at the time. There still isn't really right now. So people are like farming and compounding and holding their tokens for the reflection wars, it seems.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, for me, it was just like a no-brainer, right? As DeFi Nation mentioned earlier, he was kind of farming from the very start on this protocol, and
of course he was. He's a farming DJ.
Yeah, he's the farming DJ expert, right? But yeah, I mean, when you see that run up at the start on the VOX token, I would like to say that's just, you look at any token launch now, you get your traders come in, they moon it as far as they can go until there's no more juice left, and then they dump it. So I think that was the traders at the start. I came in when it bottom line there, when it flatlined. So for me, really safe entry. Still, if you look at the charts, I mean, they're barely moved in the great scheme of things. So for me, while I was kind of scraping on the bottom here with the RH cores, and we're scraping on the bottom with these tokens, it's kind of the safest entry point you can get. So I think the earlier the better. And if you're a bit, if you kind of got post-traumatic stress from farming before, maybe some protocols have gone down or you lost money, then I think you got single-sided staking there. You can just pair your RH cores, or if you want to have a little dabble like I did, I just started off with I think I started off with VOX Hex or something, and my experience was the price went up with both. When I started mining, my Hex went up, my VOX price went up. So I not only was earning like hundreds of dollars every few days in farming rewards, but both my prices went up together, right? You don't really want to jump in when there's a huge price difference, right? So for me, it's just been a great experience. And I think, obviously, as those APRs do lower, you're going to get more participation, more fees, right? So I think this is a really game changer. And my favorite pair is the emit increase pair, because as I say, like I love farming on emit. I think it's a great protocol, and the partnership we have there, Compound, you can take some emit, stick it over there, take some VOX, stick it over there. Been great experience for me.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And I was just gonna add that I think a lot of these protocols is a matter of educating the public and investors, because I think people with crypto, we see the gains, we see how fast things move, the volatility, and everybody has that really short mind perspective, right? But these are protocols that are built to last, and that yield, and within like 10 years, as I say, like with a really long-term perspective, there's not going to be more than 31 million coins in the market, right? And that's really small supply. And the inflation by then, since the inflation is linear, it's also not going to be more than 10% a year by then, the amount of coins getting released to all of these staking farms. And the game theory behind these farms ensure that if you're holding the token that you're receiving as rewards, right, for staking and providing liquidity and having some skin in the game, you're going to be earning PLSX and ink and helping burn PLSX and ink and hex, and and that's what we want, right? So and the game theory is most of these yield reflection types of tokens, you're usually distributing those fees generated to the entire supply, to the entire market participants, right? So to the entirety of the holders. But in these farms, there's actually a twist to the game theory. The people who are actually receiving the PLSX and ink yield are just the people who are outside of the farm. So in general, you have like 80-90% of the people staked trying to compound those high APRs. They are generating the revenue for the protocol, all those fees, all the PLSX and ink fees, but only those 10-20% few are earning all of that PLSX, ink, and yield if they're keeping it in their wallets, right, and holding up the price. So and then if you provide liquidity outside of the farm, your yield is boosted even more, because there's a multiplier, and instead of your share counting as 1x on that yield, it counts as 4x. So again, providing incentives for liquidity. So you have a kind of a closed loop system where the farm generates the trading activity, the natural compounding, the natural profit taking of the farm, and the people who are stacking up that yield token that they're receiving from the farm emissions, they're just going to be having PLSX, ink, and the RH core tickers dropping in their wallet without doing anything. So there's also an incentive not to dump that token.
It's incentive for diamond handling.
And
can you
buy and burning VOX in tandem? So we're putting some buy pressure in the system. Just want to add that. I'll probably have to go soon, so if I disconnect here, because I do have a meeting coming up with some people. But just
before you go, can you share your screen again for VOX? I think I dropped off. I was doing like a walkthrough, and then I realized I was talking, and there was no connection. But so I just wanted to walk through some of the farm pairs. Hold on a second. On VOX, we have farm pairs. We have all the.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Sorry.
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear us?
I had done the walkthrough, but then I realized my connection. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you guys hear me?
So,
Okay.
yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Just go
On
ahead.
the VOX farms. Okay. The pairs we have on the VOX farm. So we have all the RH core tickers. So you're going to be earning on the VOX farms around 200 to like 200% APR with INC VOX, PLS VOX 160%, PLSX 150%, and then we have a couple other pairs there. We have PWBTC, PRAP Bitcoin for 124% APR. We did a collab with the Surf token with the Crypto Paradise YouTubers. That's 400% APR. And then the Braya token, that's Rack and Rochelle's meme coin. We just did a collab with them. It's 790% APR because the TVL is a little lower. And we probably have like a contest, like a farming contest we're going to do with them soon. Then you have the core farms with like PLSX, INC, PLSX. Those are a little lower APRs. And then single side staking VOX is around 17% APR. Then if you go to the Hype farms, the APRs are higher because that's actually been out not as long. So on the core tokens, let's see, you actually have a hex pair there,
Hex Hype,
which that doesn't have, and also the VOX hex VOX Hype and increased tokens are all around 30 to 50,000 market cap right now. So they're still like micro cap tokens, 30,000 market cap on increase, 40,000 on VOX, and 50,000 market cap on Hype.
Yeah, not a lot of downward, more to
the
go.
Pairs we have there,
upside.
INC Hype. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So INC Hype is 415%. Hype Hex is 400% APR. Hype PLS, same. They're all around 400% with PLSX and the other tokens. And then we also have compound pool, Hype and VOX. So you can take your tokens you earn from both VOX farming and Hype farming, and it's 280% if you compound in that pair. We have another Surf pair, 326%. And then you have the core farms, PLSX INC. That's the one you were in on PulseX, Corey. You were earning around 20%. Over here, it's 98% APR. So the TVL's not too high, about 5,000 in there. Same PLS DAI, 97% APR. Then you have the single side pool for PLSX, 70% APR, and PLSX, 68% APR. Then if you go to the increased farms, the APRs are a little higher because that's been out a little less time than Hype. And let me share that. Let's see, loading.
Yeah, that's 500.
Man, the connection here, Puerto Rico is always bad. Always dropping off. So, yeah, we have a most increased pair, 500% APR. So if you have most token, you can get into that. Another Surf farm, we have one on each one with that team because we did a marketing partnership with them, 470% APR. Increased VOX, we just put up, that's where you can compound both your VOX and your increased rewards from both farms into this farm. It's 460% APR. Increased DAI, 400%. Increased PLSX, 370%. Increased INC, 360%. And with PLS, 340%. Then we did a collab with Emit. So this is the one Fat Sammy mentioned, one of his favorite ones, increased Emit. If you're farming on Emit, you take your tokens that you earn there and you pair over here with 340% APR. Increased Hex, 300% APR. And then another compound pool, increased Hype, 276%. You can take your tokens from each farm. PLSX, INC, 97%. INC single staking 97%, PLSX 50%. So yeah, I mean, you can see and these APRs were actually much higher before this kind of recent pullback. I think they were about 2 times higher a couple of weeks ago when the prices of all 3 tokens were about double where they are now. Before they kind of had their sell off, because I mean they did like 4 to 8x pumps, and then they had their 50% retraces. So we did have APRs that were even twice this. So these have been kind of the lower range of APRs that we've had since all 3 protocols have been out. So it's not like where you get in at 400% and then a week later it's down to like 20%. That's not like the case.
You're coming in at the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. And if you see the prices increase, I mean, when Hype token was 16 cents like a couple of weeks ago, when we kind of did a big marketing push on it, that those farms were all around 600, 700, 800% APR in there.
And what I was gonna add is to another like education point for people to keep in mind. These are still super micro cap protocols that we are trying to grow as a community organically. True crypto type of stuff. And if you picture that, if we work together, any new member brings in another new member willing to DCA $100 a month. Just $1,200 a year, $100 a month. It's usually like something very affordable for anybody who's like working in a Western type of country. And so if you get 1,000 new users, willing to DCA $100 a month, you get 1.2 million a year in capital inflow, pure buy pressure, pure yield, pure pure burn, raising the price, and that's just going to send everything, right? And to think that in a blockchain that's open to billions of people running 24/7, that if we work together, within a year or two, we can't onboard 1,000 new holders willing to DCA $100 a month. I think we can totally achieve that. Even 100 new users willing to DCA $100 a month, that would be within a year. You'd have $120,000 of capital inflow. Pushing the price, buying and burning. So that alone would, with these liquidity pools at $10,000-$15,000, it's gonna 10x everything, way more than 10x, right? Because we know the liquidity pools, once you double the bid side, it's actually it 4x is the price. So it's more of a matter of educating people, and growing in the community organically, people believing that the people behind these protocols are have good intentions, and the protocols, they have public code, so that everybody can see what they're interacting with. I think that's kind of like one of our main missions. And as I said, I'll probably have to disconnect soon, but if in case I do, because I have something coming up, I just want to really take the opportunity, Corey.
Yeah, no worries.
But you guys can continue.
It's a good time to start winding down anyways. Why don't you tell everyone where they can find you? Maybe drop your Telegram if you want.
I was going to add to what Nova said too. Also, the reflection rewards, with the more volume that comes on the tokens, even from buys and sells. I mean, it's around 5% reflection rewards to the holders on increase for INC and PLSX for hype. So those can, if we have $100,000 in daily volume, which isn't really a lot in the the bull run, that would be like $5,000 a day distributed to the holders of PLSX and INC rewards. We just saw meme coins doing like $500,000 a day in volume, so it should be achievable once we get the volume up in the
That's great. So let Vox, before you jump off, let everyone know where they can find you, and maybe even if you want to drop the Telegram in here, that'd be fine too.
Yep. I just suggest follow on the X, and jump in the TG, because then we have all of the OG community members can help out anybody who's also kind of a newbie to farming and staking. We know there's a lot of people like that. And then I'm gonna drop it on the chat, but it's super easy. Is both X and TG, they're the same handle, but it's t.me/Vox, all caps, _DeFi, capital D, capital F. But I'll post it here in the chat.
Post it, yeah.
And that's the same for the X handle, I think, as well.
Yeah, and it's the same for the X handle.
And I just wanted to say before we wrap up, obviously, if you haven't farmed before, it is super easy. All you do is find the pair you want, go to PulseX V2, click on the liquidity tab, add the 2 tokens, provide that liquidity, and then you'll be given a PLP token in your wallet. You don't even need to find it. Once that's, once you've provided that liquidity on PulseX, go over to vox.finance, find the corresponding pool, and you'll be given the opportunity to click max, and then you simply add to the pool. It's easy as that. So if you've never done it before, jump in the Telegram and ask us how to do it. Just beware, there will be scammers trying to DM you.
100%. That is a fact there. So never answer any DMs from out of the Telegram, guys. If you're asking questions in there, make sure you're handling all your questions inside the proper Telegram that I just dropped right there for you in the chat. So,
and on the website is a bunch of other tools for PulseChain users too. So you can actually go and you can track your portfolios. There's a portfolio tracker. You just put your address in, it loads your portfolio. There's a bubble charts, which is kind of similar to the GoPulse or the Crypto Banter bubble charts. Nobody built those, but those don't gatekeep tokens. Those are really cool and show, what's up like a, high percent with animated. And then there's a coin ranking list. So you can go and see what's up, for the 24-hour. And then other tools too. I think he has the PulseChain bridge and PulseX integrated on there. So yeah, you can go on and use it like kind of just for your daily PulseChain use as well.
It's awesome. All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming on today. I do appreciate it so much. We got like about 100 of you guys watching today, which is awesome, man. Give me a retweet if you're on Twitter. And if you're on YouTube, man, smash the likes, hit the subscribe button. We're going to keep bringing this content all through the effing bull. And we talk about, wealth creation, wealth preservation in these protocols, man. This has been awesome, guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And you guys have an absolutely beautiful day. Thanks again.
Thanks, Corey.
Thank you. Cheers. Take care.
Awesome to be here.
Yes.
Thank you.